Having low self-worth affects so many areas of your life, not only personally, but in relationships as well. Now, today I'm going to be talking about self-worth and how it affects your life, where it comes from, and what that might look like showing up in your life, and what we can do about it as well. And we'll run through a quick exercise where we can sort of double check our self-worth and see where it's at, basically. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. For you that are coming back, I really appreciate you being there, and I hope you're doing okay. It's about 4:30 here in the UK, and it's dark, so that's really difficult to deal with at the moment. It is hard as the seasons change to try and keep any positivity inside yourself when the daylight is lacking. But yeah, we do our best. And for you guys that are new here to the channel, my name's Jack. It's Externally Happy, where we talk about everything from fulfillment to happiness to childhoods and feelings and emotions and all that good stuff that goes on behind the scenes in life that often we don't get to see, especially when it comes to places like social media. We see a very polished, fine-tuned version of people, and not necessarily what's going on below the surface. So welcome. Hopefully you'll get a little bit from this video. So self-worth is, for me, it's fundamentally important going through life because it affects, number one, the way you treat yourself, the way you see yourself, but number two, the way you let others treat you, and what you're willing to accept and not accept. If you've got a lower self-worth and that bar is very high, and then boundaries just tend to be non-existent and get crossed, and you'll pretty much let someone walk all over you. So it's the sort of people that you let into your life and how you let them treat you. If you do struggle with self-worth, or low self-worth I should say, that's not your fault. That comes from a very, very early place in your life, which I'll go on to talk about now, which is if you are dealing with low self-worth. And what I will do is we'll do an exercise in just a moment to see how we're feeling about ourselves. But if you are struggling with low self-worth and low self-esteem, number one, again, I reiterate, it's not your fault. So please don't beat yourself up. Recognizing it is the first step. And then that's probably come from when you were growing up, and you were probably not made to feel important. Your achievements were possibly not praised. You weren't encouraged. You weren't told you were doing a good job. You weren't made to feel solid as an individual. You were sort of left guessing, about who you are and what you should feel. You might have been invalidated growing up, or told to feel a certain way. You may have just felt not very important, sort of left to your own devices, really. And the people that were supposed to hold space for you, not only time-wise but emotionally as well, that didn't exist. So you found yourself sort of going through life without a stable base to build upon. So again, what that might look like is not feeling like people want to spend time with you, like your caregivers, not feeling like you're important or a priority to them. Again, not being praised when you've done something well, or if you're doing sports or activities, not being encouraged and told how well you're doing. Fundamentally, it is your caregiver's job to instill that self-worth within you and make you feel good about yourself, so you can carry that on into adult life. But if you weren't given that, then think back and think, were you encouraged? Were you given space to talk about how you felt, your struggles? Were you made to feel important, or did you just sort of feel like you were a bit on the sidelines and, not really someone's priority, and they didn't really care, I suppose? Did you feel cared for? Would someone give you the space to talk about, your feelings without invalidating them, and hold that space for you? So there's a lot that comes out of it as we're growing up and out of our childhood that does affect us. And once we leave childhood and perhaps we haven't had that self-worth instilled in ourselves, then we carry that through into our adult life and into our relationships as well. And going back on what I've already said, it does affect how we attach with people and form relationships, because if we don't hold ourselves in high regard, if we don't value ourselves, if we don't love ourselves, again, no fault of our own, but if we don't feel like that, then what message does that send out to others? And more often than not, we allow people to walk all over us. We end up being people pleasers. We just fold like a deck chair to give other people what they need. We find if we're in relationships, they come first, we're secondary always. We're always worrying, are they okay? Am I doing something wrong? And the emphasis is always on someone else. And that's because, again, you've never been made to feel like you're worth something, you're important. And yeah, that really does affect us in life. And it also affects what we can do and what we can achieve, because it's a bit of a cliche saying, but if you believe it, you can achieve it. And often we go through life not believing it because, again, we've never had that given to us or instilled in us. And it really does affect where we end up going in life and the achievements we can do, and what we can get done, how well we can motivate ourselves. And it having low self-worth affects so many areas of your life, not only personally, but in relationships as well. And so we're going to move on to the exercise now. And what I want you to do is just, grab a pen and paper, and I want you to sit there, and you can close your eyes if it helps, but just sit there and write 10 things about yourself that you like. Let's keep it simple. So 10 things about yourself that you like. Now, for some of you, this may be quite an easy exercise and you may be able to get them 10 things or 7 or 8 things down there pretty quick. But for some of you, you may really struggle with this exercise. It may be really difficult to even get one thing. That may be a struggle. And see how you're feeling about yourself, and say, write down as many things as you possibly can about what you're good at, what you like about yourself, and what you've done well, anything like that. And if you are struggling with this exercise, there's a good chance that you might be struggling from low self-worth, low confidence in yourself. And look back at what you've written, and is this looking like someone that loves themselves, that values themselves, or is this looking like someone that really has a hard time finding what's good about themselves and putting themselves first and loving themselves? So now you make that a focus in your life to build that self-worth up. And I'm going to do this in a future video and talk a little bit about needs, personal needs, relationship needs as well, and start to prioritize self-care. Start doing things which are about us, where our time goes away from others and it's wholly on ourselves. And this can be like exercise, it can be journaling, it can be affirmations. There's so many things that come into self-care, but it's really taking some of that mental energy and directing it back towards yourself and away from others. And I'll be completely honest with you, if this is your first time going into trying to build your self-worth and build yourself up, it's going to be really difficult, because this has been with you, this low self-worth, this negative feeling about yourself that you never got given. This has been with you since you're a child growing up. It's all you know, it's who you identify as. It's how you are as a person. So it's going to be really challenging, but the more you work on self-worth, I promise you, the more you'll get from life going forward. The better relationships you'll form, better friendships you'll make, and you'll just start living life on your own terms rather than other people's. But please understand that once you identify that you've got low self-worth, building that up and focusing on that does take time. It takes energy and it takes effort, but you can get there. And as always, you are deserving of love and happiness, and I'm sending that to you. So stay strong, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.